Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman McKeon, for your leadership promoting peace through strength. And I appreciate the panel being here today. I am a 31-year veteran of the Army, National Guard, Reserves, but I'm particularly grateful to be the dad of 4 sons currently serving in the military of the United States. That's why I'm so concerned about the confused policies of this administration, the ever-changing policies, the ambivalence, the uncertain red lines. The administration, I think, is giving a projection of weakness that puts the American people at risk. Additionally, the White House claimed chemical warfare by Syria on April the 25th, not August, April 25th, but failed to act. Secretary Hagel, will a military strike by the United States against Syria cause a dramatic increase of refugees seeking asylum in Jordan? Could a sudden increase in the number of refugees threaten the government of Jordan? Do we have plans to help Jordan absorb the refugees?
Congressman, thank you for your service and obviously your son's service, which we've had that discussion previously. First, there are now more than 2 million refugees that have fled Syria. So that's a real issue now. 500,000 in Jordan now, Turkey, Iraq. So we've got a huge problem now. As to your specific question, would a limited, defined scope attack on Assad's chemical weapons capabilities produce more refugees? We've looked at the different contingencies, reactions, possibilities of the kind of strikes that we are talking about, the options that we've given to the President. I think that it's very unlikely that you would see any increase in refugees because of the nature of the kinds of very precise strikes that we're talking about.
Well, again, the stability of Jordan is crucial to America, our
yes.
allies, and I certainly hope planning is in place. Additionally, I understand the President has said that the objective is not regime change, but he's also said no boots on the ground. However, there are always unforeseen circumstances, such as if Assad were to lose power, wouldn't it be necessary to place troops there to secure the chemical weapons?
Well, that's another contingency that we've obviously spent a lot of time looking at. That's one of the reasons that, as was noted here earlier this morning, that in that group of options, the strike of a chemical weapons munitions facility would be off limits for obvious reasons. As to your question, what would happen if Assad's government goes down in the eventuality of loss of control of those chemical facilities? We are working and have been working coordinated very closely with all of Syria's neighbors on this particular issue: Turkey, Jordan, Iraq, Israel, Saudi Arabia. And yes, we're always looking at those options as to how we would respond, what we would do, what we would have to do.
Congressman, could I just add to that that this is specifically geared not to raise the risk of losing control over those, and secondly, there will be no boots on the ground in this operation. There should be no confusion. So if something occurs down the road, the President would have to come back to you. He'd have to come back.
With so many different competing groups, and we know Al-Qaeda is involved, I don't see how it could be guaranteed that there wouldn't be a real potential for international terrorists to achieve chemical weapons. Another concern I have, the limited strike. Wouldn't Russia be able to immediately resupply the Syrian regime? And additionally, we now know that the Russian fleet in the Mediterranean is the largest since the Soviet dissolution. Is there a potential of conflict with the Russian Federation?
General, Marty, you might want to.
Yeah, in the time remaining, there's always the possibility that that Syria's allies would seek to replenish, but it would take longer than they assess at this point. And in terms of the fleet in the Eastern Med, they've been building that up even before this recent spike in activity. And their fleet there at this point is mostly amphibs and intel ships.
Mr. Larson.